Hi everyone. This is a bit of a story of a startup, a social enterprise that I had co-founded, which worked on circularity. And unfortunately, though, it had to shut down. But during the period that we were present, uh, we could create a substantial amount of impact and at the same time engage with multiple stakeholders and learn a lot. So I thought it would be worth to document some of this journey and also talk about what the startup was. It was named Bhava, and myself, Vinayak, who was my roommate in Tata Institute of Social Sciences, who is a doctor, Ayurveda doctor, and a public health professional who now works with WHO, and my co-founder Sastera Deepa, who had started this entity. Most of the time, it's me who would nudge them to like join any effort that I want to do, and we all had like these similar ideas and aspirations and also the energy that we all brought in. So most of the time, what startup founders face as an issue is also to find a right co-founder. In my case at least, I've not struggled a lot in finding co-founders, um, at least passionate people. And thanks to the larger circle I've created, social capital I've created over the last few years after coming to India. Mm, So I was born and brought up in Saudi Arabia, and that's why I said coming back to India. But until then, I didn't have much of a friendship capital or social capital. But later years of me being back in India was able to create a very strong social capital, a group of people who I've kept in touch with constantly, and always joined my efforts and work that I was involved in. So this was a period of I think 2017 or 18 when I was already working with the Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and the Environment, and it was already been like 2 years now. After I joined there in the Habitat Learning Project where we were working along with the young children, young learners in government schools from across Alapura, um, and teachers in embedding habitat education among young learners, because Vembanad wetland, which is a Ramsar site, which is a very fragile ecosystem, needed protection and conservation by the community members in the region itself. And this was the intention of A3 working there and helping young yeah, I mean young learners understand about their own ecosystem and the need to protect their habitat, including the fish species there, the wetlands there, and understanding why it needs to be protected, the birds there, understanding their own ecosystem. I mean, many a time, I mean, as young kids, at least in when I was quite younger, you're taken to the zoo to talk about the big animals there and birds being caged, etc. But to understand your own ecosystem, to live in an ecosystem where there are over 120 birds, right? And I guess over 200 plus fish species is like wow. Imagine that, because this region is land to very unique species of birds, insects, and fishes. And after the initial 2 years of the project, I was moved into working on certain other areas also. And during one of the interactions with the panchayat president or the elected member in a village at the local body of Muhamma, the president had told us that one of the biggest challenges that we face here in Vembanad, in the region that they are from, and the community is that of plastic pollution, plastic polluting the lake, because a lot of tourist inflow is there, and then there is a lot of plastic waste being polluted. And at um, the same time, people also use a lot of plastic and the as carry bags, as in the form of various packets that come in, etc. And he said it's not just affecting the water body and its species, but also affecting the fish productivity that is available, thus affecting the income of communities there. And 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 this sort of stuck me in depth. And I went on to discuss how would it be possible to do a program where we could upcycle pre-owned fabric, especially clothes, especially sari, which is a 6 meter long cloth that women in India wear, and that can be upcycled into bags so that at least up to an extent we could provide an alternative to bags. And this was not a new idea per se. I mean, it has been there for years now. People have been, communities have been using this for a long time now. Uh, but can we introduce it here in Muhamma? Can it provide an additional income to families, especially women who know tailoring, and at the same time, up to an extent, solve the plastic crisis? Well, well, frankly speaking, upcycling cloth into bags doesn't really solve the problem in its entirety, because one, you're just extending the life of a cloth that would have gone to waste by a few years by making it a bag. Because even though even if like you convert it into a bag, that you don't solve the problem, because uh, a lot of uh, saris nowadays are also made of a mix of cloth, cotton, and polyester, which means even if you use the to make bags, and then even if you use the cloth to make bags, when it ends up in landfills or water bodies, eventually, I mean, it can't be recycled. Uh, it will still contribute towards polluting the soil and the water. So it was just extending the life. Um, so this was proposed, and then he said, and the committee there said we could discuss this and see the potential. So that's when I sort of knew a few designers, especially Ishwar Subramani, who is one of my closest people, who is an amazing chef, an amazing designer, who is an amazing artist. I mean, I called him. He's been a mentor as well, and when I called him and then asked him if you could take this ch- task up of training a couple of people, community members from Mohamma. So we arranged for tailoring machines. We arranged for Ishwar to come from Trivandrum. He came down, did some training, and that was the start of the whole idea. Now, and thankfully, then A-Tree had its, I believe it's the 20th anniversary, and thus came the first order for the bags to the women whom we had trained. We brought Ishwar back again for another training. We got him to design this very unique piece that can be given out for the conference, because there are around, I think, around 1,000 plus delegates who are coming to the special event, where Kamal Bava is also there, who's a founder of Eatery, and all the other dignitaries. And we took up the challenge, and it was not easy. This was the time when Bava was not formally formed and all, but it was just an idea. But the panchayat was taking lead in this, and as a tree member, we all went on to house to and contacted neighbors, family groups, collected a lot of saris. It was one of the biggest challenge in terms of collecting so many saris. But thankfully, we we collected saris on one end. Tailors were churning out bags at a faster rate. We got the A-Tree logo embedded. They had a new logo. We got it embedded on the bags, and we took it all the way to Bangalore in the car itself, I believe, because it was only on the previous night that all the bags got finished, and we took it by car. and there, and everyone loved it. Beautiful bags, because each bag was unique, each bag was different, each bag was from a different sari, was a different story altogether, right? So this was the start of the upcycling project in Muhamma. And after this initial order, though, we realized that now what? Now that, because of this order, the first order that came in, around 20 of them got trained by themselves on making these unique pieces of bags, and they got used to the material, because there was a pressure. I mean, this is where that any project, when it starts off, needs that initial pressure, initial belief from the external community that this is going to work. So because of which we were quickly able to understand materials, because different saris are different materials are, different saris are made of different material. Some can't be stitched, so you need to improvise a bit. All of these kind of learnings happen together. Now they are all like ready for the market. And why? But after that, quickly after that, I mean, A3 being an NGO, think tank, mostly working on research, we can't take up the sales. And the panchayat as well had limits in terms of how much they could find sales for or create a system. And slowly, within a month or two, the project didn't take off. Like after that order, we didn't have any. That's when I discussed with Deepa and Vinay, okay, there is a potential for a social enterprise. There needs to be sales of these products, and do you think we can form one? Because I knew that Deepa, Vinayak had great contacts. We could use that as an enterprise model, and then build an enterprise out of it, and then a collaborative model where there is a panchayat, there is an NGO, there is a social enterprise which takes up, procures back from the self-help groups, and then is being sold. So that's how Bhava was born. And Bhava was registered as a company with three partners. Initially, it was a partnership firm, then a company, because people said it's better to get grants and so on. And I developed the website on Wix, then created a logo on, again, Photoshop simply. And from then on, the journey was quite crazy. So I was working in A3 full time, but I was also doing part time in the evenings with Bhava, and in weekends with Bhava, trying to build that system, trying to understand economics of business and all. We were incubated by Surge Impact, which is based in Hyderabad, which provided us support on understanding how to build a business, how to do how to uh, have a full analysis of how this business should grow, how to think of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And we were being provided with support from them, uh, which was also positive. A lot of things just fell in place. Then, since then, over a period of 3 years, Baba grew really big. It it showcased the story of milli bags, as we call them, the bags that made from sari, milli bags, um, as a innovative model of circularity, where women from fishing community mostly, who could make an additional income at their own convenient time from their house. They didn't have to do a fixed time job. They didn't have to mm, churn out, like how a lot of companies do give orders to in places where clothing and manufacturing is being done. We would set a pre-order for X date, and then they would take their own time. We would provide them the saris. We did campaigns in schools, where from schools students we would collect saris of their mom or their sister, and then that's been transported to a central location. It's been segregated, the good ones and based on material, and the good ones, and then that goes into the houses of the women who were involved in tailoring and making these bags. Women made an additional income many a time that helped them with extra expenses, because, or also balance the costs in because they were losing out on income from fishing sector because of uncertainties in the fishing, because of less catch or uncertainty in the climate, etc. So this project was really helping them out with that additional income. Uh, the, we went to the extent that some families, some women, members who were working on making these bags used to make up to 40,000 a month as an additional income from from this making these bags. We had especially during the Kochi Museris Biennale, which is an art fest, international art fest being done in Kochi. We had around 40 of them working around, making bags, because we had these very unique two types of one is a pouch bag which you can like fold and put it into pouch so that you can carry it around. You don't have to necessarily carry a bag around all the time. It can go in your pocket, and since some of them are made from saris, they are very small. We had this string bag, drawstring bag, which you can like pull and shut down, put it in the bag, go to the gym, go to tuition. So it was and even the string was made from saris. So what happened is that there is this very unique methodology of making a rope from coir, the coconut shell, and they use the same method to convert saris into strings. And we use the string as for the drawstring bag. So entirely made from saris, cloth waste. As was a very unique product as well, because every bag looked very unique. In Biennale and most of the stalls that we put up, these bags used to really shine out there. And slowly, by 2021, I had 2020, when the COVID initial years, but just before that, I decided to um, leave A3 and pursue Bhava full time. But unfortunately, COVID hit, and then people weren't really sure of buying bags made of pre-owned fabric. And for almost 2 years, we couldn't do collection drives because schools were shut and they didn't allow external activity, and we had to like shut down. But during this period, we learned a lot. I mean, I personally learned a lot about marketing, about products, about storytelling, about the need to have systems in place on quality control. We had a big team, we had a packaging team, we had a team to make the send the parcels to through online orders. We had people to work on collection of saris, volunteers who do that. Was altogether a big learning. It really, it at that particular point, it really helped a lot of people, including myself, to have a different view of the world, look at it differently, and do things that is going to have an impact on the environment and the society. It was just an amazing learning. Frankly speaking, I mean, Sonu, my wife, who has been an integral part of it, and then there were so many designers who came, like Arya, Krishna, who came from NID, NIFT, etc., who joined us in these efforts in training new bags, developing new material bags, etc. And we had developed around 22 different types of products from cloth waste and other waste as well. And we did screen printing. I remember the first time I was learning screen printing from YouTube, and I would go to Trivandrum, get a screen printed, and test it myself, learn it for myself. Then I would teach the women entrepreneurs on how it can be done. Um, Also to like use glove and mask, etc., because the paint, particular paint used for this was a bit toxic in nature, so we had to ensure all of that. It didn't cause any issue to the health. We had brilliant people like Atul Subhash, etc., who helped us in storytelling and building Bhava as a brand, and especially showcasing the story of women who are working on this to the outside world. Um, we had people who donated machines to for I mean tailoring machines for a unit where people can come and use and learn and try, and also for training purposes we use the center. um, we used to have massive storage facilities in Muhamma, and we also promoted and supported other enterprises through our sales channels. For example, we had products from Urava, which is run by my close friend Tony, who is the CEO of Urava. which is a bamboo organization which is based in Wayanad. They produce amazing products from bamboo, and we also promoted products from recycled paper made in Coimbatore, because paper recycling was growing, and there was a lot of demand for these beautiful handcrafted recycled paper. So we used to have these various products out of recycled paper, and it was quite a journey. Like I should say, like we we really had among the best times of doing Bhava. It was not easy when we had to shut shop, because I mean, still even now, last time when I went to Alapura, we had Chechi, or woman tailor, who came and asked Sanju, "Are you planning to restart? It would be great," because she actually said that her daughter is getting married, and a lot of it was because of Baba that she was able to save up, sad that it couldn't continue. Mm, but yeah, I feel I'm still worried about that, uh, how this happened. But COVID really hit a lot of other people, other communities, other enterprises. So it was a time that also uh, taught me the lesson of being resilient and figuring out plans to be resilient, because it's not just enough to run a system, but also have a system in place to understand how we can adapt to uncertainties that come up suddenly. We have had issues. We have had quality control issues, especially when we are dealing with a material like sari. We had to com- working with corporate organization. We had to cancel massive orders of like 100 bags, because the logo was not in the right place or the color changed. Things like that we have seen and heard, done. You know, that kind of a journey was something, a very important part of my life. Taught me a lot. Now, I mean, whenever I talk to startups and mentor startups and um, work with them, I closely analyze it and tell them where what could go wrong. The whole arc of running a startup and running a company, starting a company in products in market, uh, I've learned a lot, and I keep trying to help people understand about how um, they can do better, and also um, do an impactful job, because and also extensively talk about how the need to build collaborations with multiple stakeholders. In our case, it was important to have lake protection forums, the women SHG groups, the Kudumbashri to be part of it, the local government institution to be part of it, and most importantly, A-Tree has been an integral part of the whole journey. Without A-Tree, we wouldn't be really here. So all of this is quite um, uh, learning from the running of a social enterprise, Bhava. Technically, Bhava is still active as a company, and maybe in some future stage it will come back as an enterprise, which can help more people, provide solutions and alternatives to um, sustainable. I mean, alternatives to plastic, and alternatives to issues that we face as human beings, that are ecologically friendly in nature, environment friendly, and at the same time have multiple co-benefits. I love this term of having multiple co-benefits. Whatever you do, to have multiple co-benefits to it is also important. um, Having a co-benefit in terms of the environment, in terms of the people, in terms of mental health, in terms of resilience, and so on and so forth. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this and learned a lot. Bye bye.